What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90, and today it is time for the Week 35 Premier League predictions. Here are the winning accumulators that were given out to all of the members since the last episode of Premier League predictions. We had the result on both teams to score double with Man City and Liverpool, another Premier League treble including City and Liverpool, as well as Forest and Brighton's game. We had the 4 kickoffs fourfold, so there was an early one, a sort of middle of the day one, an early evening one, and an evening one, and that came in odds of 8.88. The 5 league fivefold, clues in the name, 5 different leagues, 5 different picks, odds of 10 to 1, and then the Tuesday treble, Barca win to 0, Arsenal and Lens to win as well. Shout out to the new members that have joined since the last episode. If you want to get exclusive members tips and posts and more one-on-one communication with me, then you can click the join button down below, or the first link in the description and get your name featured in a video like this, such as Chris Banjo, Thukazene Thabethe, Richard Hughes, Oji A, Agash Thanagraja, Rudy Makuwu Akpabla, and I'm pretty sure I butchered at least one of your names, and I'm very, very sorry, but thank you for supporting the channel, and I hope you managed to get on some of those winning accumulators in the last few days. First fixture of the game week, we do have Bournemouth up against Chelsea, and I was very close to giving Bournemouth the win, but it's just so difficult. I was then going to go for a 1-1 draw, but literally just now I've changed it to a 2-1 Chelsea win, because look at this run. Chelsea, we can't go 007 for Frank Lampard. It just can't happen. Surely Chelsea don't lose to Bournemouth, and Bournemouth, luckily for them, they're as good as safe. They don't necessarily need the points, and they're actually currently tied with Chelsea on 39 points. So we'll just go, just to save face, Chelsea, they've got to win this game. I'll go 2-1. My tip is both teams to score at 1.75. After that, Manchester City up against Leeds. Man City doing the business. They have the freedom to rotate players. They haven't even played Kevin De Bruyne since the game against Arsenal, I don't think, and they've just got a plethora of talent. They're going to win this game. It's going to be 3-0 to Manchester City, so my tip is Man City halftime, full-time at 1.57. Difficult to find value when these days I don't even know if Man City are going to be conceding. So we're going to go for a 3-0 into Manchester City. After that, Tottenham up against Crystal Palace. Tottenham, they've got to keep pushing. They don't want to be overtaken by Villa. Brighton look poised to finish above Tottenham, and if they're not careful, Brentford could even sneak past them as well. Tottenham want European football, I'm sure. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Tottenham win. Palace have reached the magic 40 points, so I think this is just poised for a Tottenham victory at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So I'm going to go for both teams to score as my tip at 1.7, because I do think Palace will be able to get a goal against Tottenham, and Tottenham haven't won since they beat Brighton a month ago, which was, I mean, they shouldn't have beat Brighton in that game, let's be honest. After that, Wolves up against Aston Villa. I'm going for another Villa win. Villa have got more to play for. Wolves, you would argue, more or less safe. Decent team, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Aston Villa to bounce back from that recent loss that they did sustain. That was against Manchester United, of course. I'm going for the 2-1. My tip is over 2.5 goals, though, at 2.1. I think there are going to be goals. I tipped over 2.5 goals in the Brighton-Wolves game, and there were 6 goals. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Aston Villa with over 2.5 goals at 2.1, above evens for my tip. After this, Liverpool-Brentford. Liverpool doing what they need to do to get the win. I'm going to go for another Liverpool win. Going to keep it simple, 2-0 to Liverpool. So my tip is actually going to be Liverpool and under 4.5 goals at 1.95. So this could be 3-1, 4-0. So quite high scoring, but just not to be 5-0 or more. And that's at 1.95, odds up from 1.45. So I think that's very good. Liverpool should get the job done against Brentford, who really have, I want to say, nothing to play for other than pride. Liverpool have got it all to play for, so I'm going to go for Liverpool 2-0, who are trying to make a late push for Champions League football. After that, it's Newcastle up against Arsenal. This one's a very difficult one to predict. Newcastle have just been absolutely relentless, especially recently. They've been scoring tons and tons of goals. They beat Southampton after going 1-0 down by 2 goals, which was my tip, Newcastle -1 handicap. They destroyed Everton. They are just winning. And Arsenal, to be fair to them, what a first half that was against Chelsea. They didn't need to do much in the second half, really. They kind of took it out of, you know, whatever gear they were in and put it down to first gear. They weren't really trying. They didn't need to. But Newcastle at St. James's Park is tricky. Arsenal could get a result, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, and my tip is both teams to score over 2.5 goals at 1.83. This could be a 2-1 win to Arsenal. I really hope it is. I hope Man City lose to Leeds. I hope they lose to everyone. It could be a 2-1, 3-1. It could be a big win for Newcastle. If you look at all their games, 3-1, 4-1, 6-1. This loss here, 3-0. This win here, 2-1, 5-1. You know, so there's a lot of goals in Newcastle games. There's a lot of goals in Arsenal games. And I think 2-2, this is going to be a very entertaining game to watch for sure. So yeah, keep it out for Joe Willock. Just get a feeling he's going to do something against his former club. Moving on, West Ham up against Manchester United. I'm going to go for a Man United win. I haven't been massively impressed by Man United. They've just kind of been sort of sneaking under the radar, kind of getting the job done, sort of blew it against Spurs. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Manchester United, and I'm going for a bit of a bold prediction here for my tip. I'm going to go for Man United to win and both teams to score at 3.75. Something about this has 2-1 written all over it for me, so I'm going to go for it. 2-1 to Man United. I think West Ham are good enough to score. I mean, let's look at these recent results. 3-0 to Man City, 4-3 to Palace, 2-1 to Liverpool. So both of those losing games while scoring. I think the same thing can happen here against Manchester United. After this, Fulham up against Leicester City. Leicester on 30 points only, just ahead of Nottingham Forest and Leeds on goal difference. And Fulham, they can't really get European football. They can't be relegated. What is there to play for? I still think they're going to give them a good game. Leicester should win this, but I don't think they will. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Just picking up points here and there. My tip is simply over 2.5 goals at 1.8. You don't even need both teams to score to get those odds. I was going to go for both teams to score on over 2.5, but when I saw that over 2.5 goals was 1.8, I thought leave it there because Fulham or Leicester could win this game 3-0. So I just think there's going to be goals. Over 2.5 goals is my tip. After this one, Brighton up against Everton. Everton, a stunning lack of W's there. Sean Dyche brought in to try and save them from relegation, but at the moment it's looking a little bit ropey, and Brighton is not the team you want to play against when you need points. I'm going for a 3-1 win to Brighton. Brighton looking phenomenal, and I found it quite difficult to find any sort of value. You could go Brighton and both teams to score, but in case it's 3-0, I'm going to go for Brighton to score 3 or more goals at 2.2. It could be 3-3, could be 4-3, could be an L. They just need to score 3 goals, and it's hard to see how they don't do that, given that they just put 6 past Wolves, who have traditionally low-scoring games. I think at Goodison Park, it would be difficult, but at the Amex, I think Brighton are going to be able to score plenty of goals, so that's why I've gone for that one there. After this, it is Nottingham Forest up against Southampton. Southampton need a win. This is the biggest game of the season. Obviously, the biggest game of the season, in my opinion, was when they played Bournemouth, but they lost that 1-0. So this is now absolutely massive. But similarly, it's just as big for Nottingham Forest. And Forest have a 6-point gap on Southampton. So I am actually going to go for Forest to get a 2-1 win. My tip, I've gone very conservative here because I could see this being a 1-1 draw. Nottingham Forest double chance and over 1.5 goals. So it allows for a 2-1, 2-0, a high-scoring Forest win. But it also keeps the 1-1 on side, or even the 2-2, because I just think Southampton might be able to get something. You never know. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Forest, all but cementing Southampton's relegation, to be honest. And so yeah, if we look at the results here, Chelsea to finally get a win under Frank Lampard. I would love it if Bournemouth win this game. I just would. Obviously, I'm not too far away from Bournemouth in terms of where I live, so I'd like to see Bournemouth get a win and go above Chelsea, and mathematically, I'm pretty sure secure their Premier League survival. What a great way that would be to do it. In fact, my best friend is going to watch that game. So he's been to quite a few Bournemouth games this season. I remember going to the Bournemouth ground to watch them in like League One against Doncaster and teams like that within years ago, like a decade or so ago. So, I followed Bournemouth for a long time, and it would be great, but I just think Chelsea... Look at them. Look at the money. Look at the talent. I know it hasn't done them well recently, but surely it's got to come good. And if it's going to come good, you'd think it'd be against Bournemouth. Man City dismantle Leeds, unfortunately. Tottenham, much needed win. Villa to carry on their European charge. Liverpool the same. Arsenal to drop points at St. James's Park. Always going to be probably the most difficult fixture, excluding the Man City one. When you looked at Arsenal's run-in, Newcastle away is very difficult. Man United to get a win, Fulham and Leicester to draw, Brighton to win, and then Forest to get the win, as I've said there. So that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a like. If you want more in-depth analysis, tips, and accumulator ideas like I've given to the members over the last week that I showed you earlier on in this video, feel free to click the join button down below or the first link in the description. But that is going to do it from me, and I will see you in the next video very soon.